Hey, welcome back. It's the very end of July now, and to be honest with you, it's all got a little bit overwhelming, as it always does at this time of the year, and you can easily get burnout, fatigue, and just get a bit emotional about it all. And I think for me, it's because we've just had so much rain in July. It's meant that the weeds have gone bonkers. I haven't had much time here to control that. So as a result, the plot is starting to look rather overgrown in places, and it's been non-stop. For July, it's been such a wet month. Doesn't really feel like it's been a very summery month, to be honest. But I do have peas and lots of flowers coming, lots of things are on track, and as I was hoping, there are a few surprises around the plot and a few things that are not as expected, slightly disappointing, but we'll come to those on the tour. But it's all just getting a little bit hectic, and I think because my wedding is now only a couple of months away, it's that really important run up to the big day, which means I'm not spending as much time here because I've got lots of planning to do, and yeah, it's just like crunch time, so that's taking up a lot of my time at the moment. But we've still had lots of crops. I'm harvesting peas now, obviously. My salads have started to go to seed. I forgot to sow more. But I've also harvested loads of berries, lots of blueberries. They have been amazing. And I also harvested my first bucket of potatoes, and you'll get some video reveals on that soon. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom, it's just that time of the year, and I think everybody gets like it around here. We haven't had the burnout of the hot weather like we usually do this time, because it's not been that hot at all. So yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining, because all the rain has meant that our water table is kind of like reset after the really hot early sort of summer, like May, June time. We had a really hot spell. So the ground is now absolutely saturated, which means my plants and my flowers are thriving, and it means I'm not so worried about the water situation. Just need a bit of sun to bring out the flowers now. Like my dahlias, I've got so many buds on them that are just literally about to burst, and I've held off making this video for as long as I could in hope that you'd have more to see in terms of the blooms. But most of them, they're still tightly budded, and we've probably got about 5 days up to a week until they all just go pop. I'm so excited for that. And these are the telegraph peas, the ones that grow really, really tall. And I'm quite surprised they haven't actually blown over. It's also been really windy. And I've just been so relieved that I've put all of the plant support netting around my flowers, because they're all still standing tall. But it's all happening in the polytunnel as well at the minute, so I'm excited to show you in there. But yes, that's my little caveat, that this video is full of weeds, and that's just how it is. I'm not going to sort of hide that fact or be shy or, you know, hide the truth. It is what it is, and I think it's important to share that. How's the weather been at your end? I know most of Europe seems to be on fire at the minute, which is quite alarming. Mind you, America also, I believe. I haven't really taken many of these home because, as you know, peas are just one of the best allotment snacks. Oh, my pumpkin archways. Wait till you see what's going on over there. Okay, last one. Let's go. Okay, it's a bit windy today, but let's see what's going on at the end, the very, very end of July. My buddleia is enormous this year because I didn't hard prune it, because I wanted a bit more privacy from my neighbours, where they cut their hedge a little bit low. But down at the front, we've got a few flowers still, but that's sort of going over mostly now. And the rose that I planted up the plum tree, look, we've got some blooms. And this is the David Austin Woollerton Old Hall, which is a climbing rose, and just a little bit gone over, but it's a lovely apricot-y cream kind of colour, and it's quite scented as well. There's definitely lots of bindweed joining my peas over there. And this bed was a bit of a veggie bed this year. You can see all the lettuce. This is what it looks like when it goes to seed. And you could easily let this flower and then collect the seed for your future salads. I'm probably going to get this area cleared soon so I can get something else in. I've actually sown some more peas. Now it's sort of getting a little bit late to be sowing more peas, but they are fairly quick growing, so I thought why not try it. And I was speaking with Becky at Elder and Wild on Instagram, who's just set up a YouTube channel. Do check it out. She's a fantastic flower farmer and florist, grows them all in her back garden. And we were talking about putting food in your flower arrangements, and she reminded me that I was supposed to sow some so that I could use the foliage in the wedding flower arrangements, because pea tendrils and pea shoots are just such a vibrant green and they look amazing. And basically I put a load of peas in this container and soaked some kitchen towel in water and then closed the lid so it stayed nice and moist, and we've got peas. And these have germinated, I kid you not, in like 2 days, which has really sped up that process. So I'm going to pop these into some cell trays and hopefully they'll be very quick to grow, and I can throw some more in here and see what comes of it. You know, why not? Give it a shot. And behind the peas we've got potatoes, the buckets of which have really flopped in their foliage because, well, we've had so much heavy rain and the wind, but they're doing okay, and I do need to harvest some more of these. We've got the parsnip that I let go to seed, and they are looking amazing, and I will be cutting and drying some of this because they might look amazing in an arrangement. Whoa, look at it go. But in the hedgerow, look what we've got. Continuous supply of blackberries at the moment, and there are so many of them to come. I mean, I thought last year was the best year for blackberries ever, but I don't know, this year seems to be already putting on some good competition to that. And one of my favourite foods at the moment is my morning breakfast, having lots of granola with some yoghurt, bit of honey and fresh berries. So it's been strawberries, then blueberries, now blackberries. So good. I don't know if you remember, early on in the season I threw a load of beetroot in this rather large container. Wasn't sure how well they do, but they are actually looking really quite mature. Look at those. So I have some good sized beets. And as for the strawberry cages, well, you can barely see the cages, and this is what I'm talking about. It's just gone berserk and it's really hard to manage. I think next year I might actually completely overhaul this area, as I may have mentioned in the previous tour. I'm thinking of getting some matting down and growing my strawberries through those. Maybe redoing the cages because a mouse or vole still snuck through the holes, because they're, you know, a mouse can still definitely fit through that. So I just need to rethink this and give it a bit of a makeover. And we come on to my archways. And how are they doing? Well, the first one, cup and saucer vine, is growing really, really well. It's almost approaching my shoulder height. I'm not actually very tall. I'm about 5'2", in case you didn't know, fun fact. So yeah, it's about here, a bit higher then. So getting on for 5 foot. Not quite sure when we're going to start to get flowers. I think it might be more like September. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, both sides of the Kobe scandens are climbing away. And well, as for the second one, you can see we've got the squash growing terrifically well up there. Now, what squash is it that I planted? What variety is it, you might be asking? Well, I thought it was Jack Be Little, which, in case you don't know, I mean, as the name suggests, it's a very small squash. Not much bigger than, you know, like a tennis ball. It's quite flat and cute and would look great as a little decoration, but it's also edible. Let me show you my Jack Be Little squash that's now fruiting over here. It's got enormous leaves, which already gave me a bit of a signal that, this is pretty big. And here we have the fruit. Jack be little, everybody. That is not Jack be little. That is Jack be massive. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I sowed the wrong seed, or perhaps the seed packet I was sent from the company has different seed in it. It could even be a hybrid. I'm not sure. Could be anything. But one thing's for sure is that it's not Jack be little, and I don't know how big my Jack be massive is going to get, which is a little bit worrying, because obviously I only put these supports up to cater for small, light squash that could handle it. So I'm going to have to put, I just spotted a flower bud on the Kobe. I'm going to have to put some sort of extra support in. I think I might have to make a little cradle for the squash to hold it up so that it's not being weighed down. I think I've seen people use like tights, or what do you call them in America? What do you call them? Suspenders? Is that right? No. Stockings. That's it. Because they're stretchy and you can sort of cradle a big fruit quite well. My bras aren't big enough for those. But yes, so got to see what comes of this. I'm not complaining. It's growing really, really well. It's just a lot bigger than I expected. And I'm just a bit scared that, if we get loads and loads of fruit, which it looks like we are, can you see here? On the opposite side, there's another fruit here. Just a little bit further up, we've got another one there. And this vine actually needs tying in because it's getting rather tall. It's grown a lot with all the rain we've had. And oh look, that one looks quite long. That's not a very round one. So yeah, not quite sure what's going to come of this. I just really hope the frame doesn't come crashing down, because if it does, it might take out the Kobe scandens, which I think is going to look amazing come September. And if we go a bit further back, we've got, I'm not actually going to walk down there because I don't want to crush any squash. But on the back one we have Baby Boo, which is growing, but it's not growing at a fantastic pace. It's probably about 2 foot tall. I need to tie it into the frame. But along the ground we have the Uchi Curry red squash, and we've already got quite a few fruits. Let me show you. If I just carefully tread in between the weeds and the squash, I know that, oh, not there. Nope, not there. Somewhere we've got quite a few squash. There's one, can you see? It's hiding down there at the back. But there are a few bigger ones. Aha, here's one. Already yellow. But yeah, some of these are often ready for harvest around August. Now we've got another one there. So the curry squash is doing good, and that's just rambling wild round there. Here we've got Baby Boo. Oh, it's actually grown quite a bit in the last few days. No signs of fruits yet, just the male flower with no fruit behind it. And there's another one here. I actually planted 2 against this frame. It's almost like I knew they wouldn't be as successful, but they're growing well, so I've just got to tie them in. Down past the apple tree, we've had a few more berries. My autumn fruiting raspberries have already started to fruit, and I can't find any right now. Oh gosh, here they are. Oh my god. Oh yes. These are the Joan J, and if you've been here a while, you'll know how much I love my Joan J raspberries. And these, this year, they're so much bigger than they have been for a while. Fantastic size, so juicy and sweet, delish. As for the apple tree, well, I've noticed lots of apples that are being eaten. So I don't know if I've got like magpies or something. Squirrels maybe, but can you see that up there? So there's definitely not as many up there now that there were. which is a bit concerning, but I'm sure they'll still get enough for me to enjoy, hopefully. But these won't be ready until about mid-September anyway. I don't really want to go down here because it's just going to stress me out. Yeah, the wildlife corner is just a jungle. Jungle of weeds. Plus some buddleia at the back. And I've spotted so many butterflies recently. And if you're in the UK, it is the butterfly big count or butterfly watch at the minute. So take part in that. You might remember my 8-foot foxglove. Well, I've also been saving seed this month because I think it's going to be a great thing to try and grow more monster foxgloves and see if I can grow a really, really big one. Maybe I'll do a giveaway with some of the seeds, or maybe that could be a Patreon thing when I finally get around to doing it. Who knows? But I know I want to save these seeds, so it's something I've been doing. Make sure if you're going to save foxglove seeds, you wear gloves because they're a poisonous plant and all of it is poisonous. So especially if you're going to go around your allotment nibbling on crops, just make sure if you're touching foxgloves, you're wearing gloves. So yes, I've just been carefully tipping over each little head and collecting the seeds in a brown paper bag. But it's got to the point now where, oh gosh, yeah, there's lots coming out of this still. Oh, and they're falling on me. Okay. Different method. I think I'm actually going to snip this because it's only getting blown around by the wind. Ooh. Could really do with a bigger paper bag right now, but I've already got lots of seed. So I'm just going to quickly flip it like so and catch all the seed at the bottom. Oh, and there's a ladybird. If I do this also over open ground, I might also grow some directly here. Wow, that worked. And there we got lots of foxglove seed. Thousands of them. Outside my shed, I've got this eucalyptus that I pruned incredibly hard around March, April time. This plant was originally about 3 meters tall and it was leggy and floppy. It wasn't growing in the best conditions. It was quite shaded where it was growing. So I cut it by about 2/3, got about a meter of growth here, so that I get all of this gorgeous young foliage that have just shot out from what was completely naked stems. So I've now got plenty to play with come wedding flower time, and this should hopefully harden up quite nicely because at the minute it's really too fresh to use in a bouquet because it will be all floppy and it will wilt. But this is going to give me plenty of material to work with, and it smells amazing as well. Behind that we've got the tall boys, more auroch in a few different colours. We've got the pinky one and also the green one. Again, this is for the seed heads, so little way to go really until we get those. But then behind it is the amaranthus. Again, we've got a few colours. We've got the green one with these tassels that are absolutely amazing. I mean, look at those. No idea what I'm going to do with them yet as far as the wedding flowers are concerned, but they're going to look awesome in a big arrangement or something, I know. And we've also got the hot biscuits here, that sort of coppery colour. It's going to be great for the autumn vibes that we're going for. And yeah, my structure, the little support, seems to be doing well for them because they might get even bigger, so definitely needed that in place. My blueberry bush has done really well this season again. They're just about finished now, but there might be a couple more in here hiding. Perfect little allotment snacks. Thank you very much, blueberry. Should we have a look at the pond? I know you're probably keen to see how the fish are doing. Hopefully you saw my fish update. The pond has now got new fish, in case you didn't know. Let's go see them. The cage is doing really well at protecting them. I have now also named the fish. Thank you so much for all your suggestions. And I can tell you that their names are Hamish. This is one of the most commonly requested names, so I had to pick it. Thank you, I also love it. I don't know many Hamishes, I think I know one who's a friend of my sister's, but it's a fantastic name for a guy. Second of all is Seamus, and thank you James who requested this one, who actually gave me a donation towards the channel and requested that I pick this name. So Seamus is the larger of the silver platinum Medaka fish that I have in here. Third of all, we've got a female name, that's Merida. I think a lot of you picked this one up perhaps from the film Brave. She's a great character in the film, I have seen it, and I think it's a great name. So Merida is another name for perhaps one of the orange fish. And then we've got Angus, that was another really popular name, very Scottish name. I did have a Fergus on my previous set of fish, so I think it's only fair that we now have an Angus as a very typical sort of Scottish male name. And the last one was my own choice. I love this name, and it's Isla, which is a girl's name, and I think that's another one that's very suitable for one of the smaller orange fish. And let me show you, might give them some food because they're a little bit shy right now. So there we have Seamus. He's the larger of the platinum ones. There's two of the orange ones there. I've noticed that the third orange one, which is quite small, actually prefers to hide out a little bit further down the bottom of the pond. But they're all settling in fine, eating well, and there's not been any fighting. And I think they've started to become accustomed to the fact that when I come over, they get fed, which is probably why they're now waiting around for some food. There's the smaller of the platinums. I will give them some food, it just makes it awkward for the camera to focus once I put it in the water. So you do see them better when I don't have the floating bits of food on the surface. But a few of you asked about the solar powered pump. Well, it's still going. It depends how sunny it is as to how much it bubbles. Hello, that's one of the orange ones. Let's say that's Isla, the larger of the females. And yeah, they're doing well, and the cage is doing a great job at protecting them and stopping any debris from falling in. I'm still using the micro granule food and just crushing it in my fingertips a little bit before I put it on the surface. And I'm feeding them every day that I come down, to be honest, because they do eat it all up, even though they've got plenty of, you know, fresh live food in the pond to be eating. They like mosquito larvae, and there's some water fleas in here as well. But yeah, they've definitely got quite the appetite, and the more they grow, the more colour they'll develop, and they'll become much brighter orange and silvery blue as well. There's Seamus. Hello James, if you're watching. It is actually really quite difficult to tell the difference between a male and a female Medaka. It's all in that back tail fin. That's probably not the correct terminology. The one that sits on their abdomen. So yeah, they all look the same to me. I'm not sure what I've got. Hopefully a mix of male and female, because then I might get some little fry baby fish next year. But yeah, all the plants are growing well as well. Here you got the water clover, and it's just very relaxing to watch. Now then, this dahlia is my first dahlia to bloom on the allotment, which is what I was expecting, because it's named as La Recoleta, and on the Sarah Raven website, which isn't where I bought it, but it does say that it's the first one to bloom and the last one to bloom reliably so. So as I saw it coming up and these big buds coming, I thought, oh, that's the one, it's going to bloom. But now I've got the flowers, I'm a little bit confused because it's not quite as I was expecting. Now, La Recoleta is, I believe, a pompon type dahlia, so the petals kind of reflex all the way back to the main stem and create almost like a ball shape. And it's supposed to be a very dark burgundy colour, not a bright red. Which is why I'm a bit confused, because the shape of this doesn't quite match what I was expecting. And it's also a much brighter red than a purpley plum dark burgundy. So do I have a different dahlia, or is it just a case of the weather playing up? Because I know in the past when we've had heavy rainfall, the dahlias change colour and they can be a little bit more sort of washed out. So I'm not sure what's going on, but do let me know if you've experienced this, because yeah, I'm not sure. But I mean, it's still a very beautiful dahlia, don't get me wrong, but long-time watchers will know I'm not a huge fan of red. I don't grow anything red, really, because I was hoping for a plummy burgundy colour, which is not red, and I don't know what you are. But this one behind it is also meant to be a La Recoleta, but it's not flowering yet, unlike this one. Who knows? Let me know in the comments if you've got an idea of what this is. Now, unfortunately, red is one of the most difficult colours to capture correctly on camera, as is like a dark pink kind of colour. But I mean, it is starting to reflex outwards, but it's also showing the centre there, which it wouldn't normally if it was a pom-pom. And this is a little bit darker than the first ones. The first ones that come out are really red, look at that. But I'm expecting them to be, you know, really dark burgundy, so I'm not sure what's going on. Oh look, there's a snail living in there, how cute. I never kill the bugs on my allotment, I just make them fly. Whee! There we go. Gosh, look at the wind. So I'm not sure what's going on with these, and may not use them for their intended purpose if they carry on this way. But you can see how it's really difficult to capture. The colours just aren't what I was expecting. That is what I was expecting. So hopefully it will stay that dark, but again, it's still got an open centre. Oh, I don't know. But as you can see, the dahlia patch is still very much green. But we've got so many birds, I mean so many birds, that are just days away from popping. And this is an entire row of Zundert Mystery Fox, which, as you can see from this one, that is the most open dahlia otherwise, is a gorgeous orange that I love, and it is a true pom-pom, and I can't wait to see this fully open and for this entire patch to be in flower. They're looking really healthy. They're a nice dark green, and the support netting that you can barely see anymore is doing its job. We've had so many windy days and it just sways as a big crop rather than damaging, which will hopefully stay in place and do the job. I just thought I'd skip to the other side so you can see it from this angle, where along this path we've got all the white varieties, including Petra's Wedding, My Love, White Honesta, and the Cafe au Lait is elsewhere, but we'll come to those in a moment. But yeah, they're just honestly days away now, so I'll give you a proper dahlia only update when they start to come out in their numbers. Now, whilst we might not have many dahlias, we do have straw flowers. And also, oh my gosh, look at these bees, I'm sorry. On the other side of the path, we've got the zinnias, and I think this one's just taking a little nap. Look. Oh my gosh, that's just adorable. And this little guy's awake. Hello. You do look a bit sleepy though. And this zinnia is gorgeous white, creamy variety with a touch of green to it. And it's called, is it Giant Bernard White, I think? I need to check on that. fantastic straight strong stems on these, and they've just all started to pop in the last couple of days. Always woken up. Hello, Sleepy. Yeah, so they're looking good. Come to the straw flowers in a minute. I've just been distracted by this side now. And look at these scabious. These are the pincushion flowers. Really gorgeous dark colour. Almost looks black on camera, but it is like a burgundy red. See, this is what I was expecting from my dahlia. And a lovely little honeybee getting some nectar. And I'm growing these not just for the flowers, but they'll make fantastic little seed heads as well that will be great for drying and adding a little bit of texture and movement to arrangements. Now, I don't know if you remember that next to those we had another type of scabious, and that's the drumstick scabious, and they looked pathetic and feeble and awful for quite a long time because we had a bit of a cold spell in spring after I'd planted them out. But I'm relieved to say that they've actually bounced back and they're flowering and creating that iconic little seed head. There's a much bigger one further down, let me go find it. But yeah, that's what the flower looks like. It's a really pretty sort of white lilac-y blue kind of colour. But I just need to pass this statice to get to it. And this I'll be cutting for drying as they reach their maximum flower. So these have still probably got a few more days to go. Not quite in full bloom yet. And this is kind of a substitute for gypsophilia. It creates that sort of filler in a bouquet, nice white classic for the wedding flowers. And let's go a bit further down. Looks like something from the sea though, doesn't it? The stems are really unusual in that they've got this sort of winged effect, a lot like the Euronymous alatus, if you're familiar with that has fantastic autumn foliage. But yeah, it just looks like some weird sea creature. Really bizarre. But so easy to grow, honestly. If you're not very confident at growing flowers yet from seed, give these a try. Statice iceberg. I'm also growing another statice. This is like a peachy apricot colour. Almost ready for cutting, maybe a couple more days. And then I'll hang it upside down to dry. And it will keep its colour right until the wedding when I'll be using them. Oh yeah, I was looking for that drumstick scabious, wasn't I? Here it is. I was about to cut it yesterday and I thought, no, I'll save it so you can see. Look at it. There's little upside down umbrellas on a fairly good stem length. Some of them are a bit thin and are short, but we do have, oh no, this one's even better. Look at this one. There we go, look at that. That's amazing. I can't believe I've grown it. And I can't believe it bounced back from the brink of death. Just goes to show, if you just show a bit of patience, then they'll often recover. But yeah, we've got quite a few more to come. So that's a nice relief. And we've also got in here a random Rudbeckia that I mostly planted elsewhere, but must have had a gap to fill. So they're all still coming along. And most of the statice is also not yet here, but will be soon. But over here we've got some cosmos. This is the apricotta, a new variety from Sutton Seed this year. Really, really beautiful mix of peach and pink. Wow, look at the tongue on that bee. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. That is a big bee. That's a big tongue. I can't say I've ever seen that before. What is it doing? Is that really its tongue? It almost looks like a claw. I'm really confused. Must be its tongue. And then we've got the tiny honeybee. Oh, look at all the pollen on its head. The straw flowers are now at that point when they're ready for harvesting, and it can be a bit tricky knowing when to harvest the straw flowers, because you don't want them when they're fully open, because they're not as pretty, shall we say. I mean, I like them when they're still fairly nice buds. If they start to open, the centre isn't quite as nice. So you want to cut them when they're still slightly budded. But if it's a cloudy day, or if it's the morning or the evening when they haven't actually opened up, it can be tricky to know when to harvest them. But I've just been cutting them when there's about 2 layers of petals open. So something like this one. And it's got this lovely sort of button shape in the middle. A couple of layers have opened. It's not a tight bud and it's not fully open. But this will start to open as it dries, a bit more so. And I'm trying something different this year, whereas normally I would cut the stem and dry on the stem upside down. This time I'm actually cutting just the flower heads and then I'm going to wire them. And that means I'm going to get so many more flowers because I don't have to wait for the stem length to grow, and I'm not going to sacrifice some of the little side shoots that have smaller buds on them. So I'm going to be wiring them for my decorations and bouquets and arrangements for the big day. And yeah, I've got a variety of different colours here. We've got the white, like a blackberry wine coloured one. There's a yellow, and then one that I think was called salmon, but it's actually a bit more pink, except for one plant that's a really gorgeous colour. I'll see if I can find it. Here's the yellow one. I was trying to grow a lot of orange, but unfortunately I had trouble with my seed this year. So I've got a lot of alternatives, and I've still got plenty of whites. And I mean, these are going to be flowering now right until probably November. Yeah, so these are going to be prolifically cropping over the next couple of months. So I'm not worried about not having enough. Oh yeah, the very special colour. So my salmon pink is mostly this sort of pinkish colour. But this one plant, just one plant here, can you see how in comparison it's a lot more peachy orange? Oh, that leaf's in the way, like that. And that is a perfect colour for what I am looking for. So I'm going to save seeds from this as well, because this is just going to go so well with all the other colours that I'm growing. Like the apricot cosmos, it's going to match with that. The auroch, it's going to match with that. Yeah, it's going to be really nice. Just wanted to see how this straw flower matches with, yeah, look at that, Zunder Mystery Fox. One of my favourite dahlias. It goes so well. I throw a bit of white into that. I think we're onto a winner, don't you? And heading up to the top of the plot in these raised beds. Well, you can't really see much of the soil right now. The erigeron is really taking over. Love it, flowers for such a long time. But the dahlias in here, not quite budding yet. This side gets a little bit more shade. But we do have Ludwig Helfert dahlia, which is bright orange and a cactus type. So quite a spiky shape, as the name suggests. And over here, these are all Café au lait, because they get quite big and I didn't want them to swamp out some of the other varieties. Big plants with big flowers, and I think they're going to look stunning. Ooh, hello butterfly. All together there. What type of butterfly is it? Oh, I think, is that a meadow brown? I'm not very good with my butterflies. Are you still with me? I feel like this is a long tour today. Let's go into the tunnel because we've got lots of tomatoes and chilies to investigate. Here we have the polytunnel. It's a bit of a jungle and everything's growing really well. I'm so pleased. Some of the tomato plants don't have too many trusses on them, but I'm not too bothered because tomatoes aren't too much of an important crop for me. It's all about the chilies. But do make sure you do the tomato shake. The tomato shake means you're more likely to get fruit set from your flowers. A lot of the time, well, most tomatoes are self-fertile, but they do benefit from a bit of a shake. because they need that vibration to release the pollen to pollinate the flowers. But oh my god, can you see that truss down there? We've got quite a lot of fruits on the way. They're just really slow to ripen because we haven't had much sunshine, unfortunately. And the string technique is proving, you know, the way once again, although this one's gone a bit rogue. Just turning the stem around that twine as they grow. And I've also done a bit of pruning in here, so all of the leaves up to the first truss of flowers from the ground up, they've been removed to improve ventilation, to help prevent blight, and just to give a good amount of airflow in this really quite densely planted tunnel. But yeah, look at those beauties. Mostly cherry tomatoes in here this year. We've got a mix of reds and oranges. Oh my gosh, that is like a triple truss. That's amazing. And hopefully no signs of the B word just yet, despite it being really humid. Try my best to just improve the ventilation despite all the plants. And I mean, there's a lot going on. I can barely walk down here. We've got lots of chilies on the way. This beautiful nasturtium that I showed you last month has got a bee in it. Hello. That colour, yeah, I know, right? Isn't it amazing? Yeah, can't stop looking at it. What else have we got? What else have we got? So these, I'm just a bit overwhelmed with the excitement of all the plants. These are my, is it ring of fire or basket of fire? I always forget. Oh, I can't remember. But upright chili, going to be really colourful and decorative. Look gorgeous in a terracotta pot, don't you think? And yeah, we've got loads of little chilies on the way. Look, I think they're going to be quite spicy as well. I can't wait to see them change colour because we're going to get purples, oranges and reds. Really cool. I think it's ring of fire. Yeah. So that's those. Then somewhere we've got jalapenos. Quite a lot of jalapenos on the go, such as this. There was one plant that had fruit on it. Where has it gone? Oh, we might find it. And all of these chilies down here I've grown this year in 3-litre pots, whereas normally I'd sort of pot them up into like a 10-litre, and I just found that if we didn't have a good enough summer and if I didn't pot them up early enough, they wouldn't really root into it and they'd spend most of their time rooting rather than fruiting. So this year I'm keeping it simple. That was a madras, if you're wondering. Really excited to see these actually. Not grown it before. So yeah, I've kept them small, and I mean, I don't think we're gonna lose any fruits as a result of that. Yes, you can grow really big chili plants if you pot them up enough in good time, but I just want, you know, a few fruits from each plant and I'll be happy. And these are the Scotch bonnets that have really caught up actually quite well, and I'm just hoping that we get a few fruits from these because they're known to be a lot later than the others because they're quite spicy. Yeah, I'm just so pleased I've not sort of gone to the extra pot sizes on these. We just rather love a little bit of sunshine to bring everything on to ripening or to get the flowers out. And I've just spotted a red admiral. Can you see it? Trying to sun himself on the rock. It's very encouraging to see more butterflies around this year. I think I'm spotting more than I did last year. Yeah, do the butterfly count, guys. So here we are at the top of the allotment at the very end of July in 2023. Lots of things to look forward to over the next few weeks and some interesting results to await, such as that squash. How big is it going to get? Will the frame collapse? We will see. Since the wind's picking up, I figured I really should tie in this rogue squash, pumpkin, who knows what this triffid is going to become. Makes me quite nervous. Oh, we will see. But yeah, we've got so much to look forward to. I can't wait for all the dahlias to pop in the next week. I'm going to be harvesting more of my potatoes real soon, and still sowing. Don't forget to carry on sowing. There's still time to get some more beetroot in, some lettuce, and yeah, just cross my fingers that we have steady weather and hopefully some more sunshine over the next month or so, because yeah, the countdown is on for the big day. Do let me know how your allotment, your garden, your window ledge is growing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you real soon.